Hi, how are you? I told you in my previous video that in the second video of the series of India's foreign policy, I will tell you about the objectives of India's foreign policy. In the last video, I told you about India's policy adopted by our Honorable Prime Minister, first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, non-aligned movement, and its principle, 5 principles that are called Panchil, right? So, in this video, I am going to tell you about the objectives of foreign policy. So, there are 5 main objectives of foreign policy. Remember, the students of political science or the students of international relations are already aware, still just reminding all of them that there are 5 objectives of foreign policy of a country, right? Number 1, the primary goal of a foreign policy is to safeguard the country's territorial integrity and people's interests from both within and beyond the country. Number 1. Number 2, the second goal is to maintain ties with other countries of the international community and to pursue a policy of confrontation or collaboration with them in order to further its national interests such as economic development, environment sustainability, military strength, safety and security of its citizens anywhere in the world, right? Number 3, the third goal of a country's foreign policy is to promote and advance its national interest. Number 4, the fourth purpose of a foreign policy is to promote the country's indigenous literature and culture through the world. Number 5, the fifth purpose is to increase the state's influence either by expanding its sphere of influence or by putting other countries in a position of reliance. Apart from the above two other cardinal objectives of India's foreign policy are: number 1 that I have given, let and let live. To live and let live. Okay. So, in addition to the 5 objectives, I have given two more objectives. What are those 2 objectives? Number 1, to live and let live. Number 1. Number 2, to grow and let grow. India doesn't want to live alone. India wants that all the countries, all the neighboring countries, all the South Asian countries, all the global countries should grow together, okay, and equitably and holistically. They should grow, everybody should grow. That is why you see, when Indian Prime Minister first came to power, he at first called all the neighboring countries. Why? Because he wants to promote peace, he wants to promote love, he wants to promote fellow feeling, and he wants to promote peace among the South Asian countries, right? That is why that was his ultimate aim, that India will promote love and peace among all the nations, among all the people everywhere in the world, right? And second thing is that I told you that to grow and let grow. India will not grow alone. India will allow others, India will help others to grow. India will help others to grow also, okay. So, these are the 2 additional policies have been taken by the government of India in recent times, okay. So, in this manner, the principle of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is adopted. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, what does it mean? Under this government of India government led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, this government has first time popularized the term Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It means, in English, it means the world, the entire world is one family. Entire world is one family, okay. So, now I will discuss in brief about India's foreign policy under PM Modi. But before that, we need to discuss the foreign policies adopted by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay. First, I say that I will say about the foreign policies in brief of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and his daughter Indira Gandhi and her son Rajiv Gandhi, and then Narasimha Rao and Dr. Manmohan Singh, before discussing in detail about the foreign policy of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Okay, so these are the prime ministers, mainly all are Congress prime ministers. So I will tell about their foreign policy. But whatever party they may hold, but the foreign policy or national policies always remain at the top and unbiased. It depends. It seeks to promote peace and prosperity. It mainly seeks to promote fellow feeling. It normally tries to safeguard the interests of India and Indians. Okay. So India's foreign policy was shaped by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. From 1947 to 64, he ruled in India. Okay. So India's tough stand can well be understood from the speech of Nehru. It is not India is a peace-loving country. Yes, it is true, but at the same time, it is also true that India is very much strict in case of intrusion, in case of violence, in case of terrorism, in case of national interest, okay, and border security also. So Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru said in the United States Congress, what did he say? He said that, quote, when freedom is menaced, justice threatened, or where aggression takes place, we cannot be and shall not be neutral. Remember, what is straightforward comment, okay? He said on another occasion, he said that our policy is not to commit ourselves previously to follow a certain line. Our policy is the independence of action. If we say we are permanently neutral, India is permanently neutral, right? So it has no means except permanent retirement from public affairs in the national sense, that is sannyas. So no country can do that, and certainly we have no desire to return from world affairs. You see, what is India's foreign policy? India is a permanent. India adopts the policy of permanent neutralship. Okay, so you see how recently, you see, when there is Russia and Ukraine war is going on, Indian Prime Minister visits both the countries. At first he went to Russia, and then within a few days he went to visit Volodymyr Zelensky. Why? Because it is not that, yes, definitely we have very old friendship with Russia, but at the same time it is not that we are biased towards Russia. We are neutral, permanently neutral. So the foreign policy is the same. Foreign policy has been adopted by our honorable Prime Minister also, Prime Minister Modi, right, which has been adopted by our first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So A. Appadurai in one of his works has rightly commented, inverted comma, quote, I am saying, quote, thus independent foreign policy is not the same thing as neutrality. It may demand if and when war comes, that India should join the free nation to realize her objective of freedom and peace. Okay, it is not a negative policy; it is a positive one, designed to realize the objectives of peace, freedom, and friendliness with like-minded nations, and the development of herself and other underdeveloped nations. The independent foreign policy only means that India refuses to commit herself to advance to either bloc, utilizing a pact or otherwise to surrender her freedom to judge each issue as it arises on its merit, right, unquote. So Deepak Lal also discusses about India's foreign policy from 1947 to 64 under Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. He pointed out that, quote, as with any foreign policy, the claims of national security were very important in Jawaharlal Nehru model, unquote. Okay, so there are two blocks. We all know that value assumptions in the model that required a two-pronged general strategy. On the one hand, preserving national security and with its imperfect human beings and power politicking among states, whilst at the same time trying to move towards the national ideal of a new society both at home and abroad. Okay, so India's foreign policy is very much clear from the discussion of these great political scientists about the policies, foreign policies adopted by our first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So, for Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, national security implied not merely physical security, but also freedom from political and economic domination. Right. So, the latter was almost as important for him as were physical security in terms of sources of strength. Pandit Nehru once said that whether it is a problem of defense or a trade or industry or economic policy, India cannot be ignored. Still, in the 21st century also under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, you see that no country in the world, whatever, either a middle income country, either a powerful country or the most powerful country, permanent members of Security Council, all the members of NATO, all the members of all the members of all the blocs. So nobody can now, including European Union, nobody can ignore India. If you want to call any business summit, if you want to call a political summit, if you want to call an economic summit, you cannot do that without India. So, India has assumed such a important position in global field or global arena, right. So, she cannot be ignored. Because why India cannot be ignored? Because her geographical position is a compelling reason. She cannot be ignored also because of her potential power and resources. Okay. So, Indira Gandhi, her daughter, she was also very pragmatic politician. Okay. She carried forward the legacy of her father through foreign policy. She tried to rebuild her own image in the global arena, as it was mostly shattered by ban on media and arrest of opposition party leaders during the emergency period. She dismantled every institution, judiciary, press, parliament and even cabinet, which came her way during the emergency, right. Despite that fact, she was the de facto first lady of India. Foreign policy can never be discussed in isolation. It is very much related to the national interest, national unity and domestic aspirations. Okay. So, she might not have governing experience, but learned international relations, diplomacy and world politics from the discussions of his father with world leaders, because she was she used to accompany her father in foreign trips, and in India also, whenever foreign dignitaries used to come to their home, so she used to stay beside Nehru and she used to listen to their conversation. And Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru had very good rapport or relation with her, with his daughter, and he used to write later from his childhood days, from her childhood days. Okay, when she was studying in Dehradun, when she was in college, every time Jawaharlal Nehru used to write letters to his dearest daughter, right. So, so this gave her practical experiences in international affairs, right. Dr. Ajay Kumar Sharma and Dr. Jitendra Kumar, they wrote an article, and in that article they pointed out that nevertheless she was one-minded with every other country, but still the Western criticism and her growing resentment steered her towards Soviet camp. Okay. So, India always is having a very close relationship with Soviet Russia since the period of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, when we were the students of Kolkata University in the 90s. Then also we found that in the end of 1980s to the beginning of 1990s, so we saw that there were 4 buses. I heard that all those buses were gifted by Russian president to India government, particularly to Jawaharlal Nehru. Jawaharlal Nehru and then got from our West Bengal government got, and so we used to go by those buses to university. and used to come back also by those buses, right? But nowadays private buses have been hired by the university authority. That's different question. I say that relationship. So there is a close relationship with Russia and between Russia and India. Okay, that I will tell you in the latter part of video, right? Maybe may not be in this video, in the other videos. Okay, so you see. So nevertheless, she was open-minded with every other country, but still the Western criticism and her growing resentment steered her towards the Soviet camp. Okay, so Indira's mindset of resentment towards the West was not applicable to France. It means India during her time had relationship or good relationship with France because she had a soft corner for it for Mrs. Gandhi. West to a large extent meant America, whose insincerity in the 1971 war is extremely or explicitly condemned. Yes, during the 1971 Indo-Pak war, at the time the USA stood in favor of Pakistan. Okay, so she obviously points out that her amity with a country is a part of worldwide affairs, and it does not mean that she should relinquish her sovereign outlook on any other key issue. It is all stuff of bewilderment, unquote. Shashi Tharoor, in an interview with Mrs. Indira Gandhi, asked some questions regarding her vision of the world and India's place and role in world affairs, right? From the conversation, her views on foreign policy can be well understood. Tharoor wrote in one of his books, Reasons of State, okay, page number 89, he wrote that, quote, 5 considerations emerge for Mrs. Gandhi's statements: the value of independence and self-reliance, okay, number 2, an assertive Indianness, number 3, awareness of the use of foreign political policy and domestic economic ends, with both involve the concepts of strength. Next, a rejection of traditional international power politics, and finally, almost surprisingly, a quest for international influence in the direction of peace and of the eminence resulting therefrom. So, unquote. She used to interact personally with major powers such as the UK, USA and Soviet Union, and the rest of the countries were dealt with hard by her foreign ministers. Okay, but she personally used to deal with these major powers. Those are the major powers: UK, USA and Soviet Russia, right? So Indira Gandhi restructured some committees related to foreign affairs. In 1970, you find that she abolished the committees on foreign affairs, broke the defense and internal affairs, and found the political affairs committee, PAC. During her tenure, she appointed 4 foreign ministers, including Sardar Sharan Singh. He is a great foreign minister, Muhammad Kuriam Chagla, then Dinesh Singh and YB Chauhan, right? So they are the historic foreign ministers, right? So further, Sharma and Kumar mentioned that Indians failed to recognize foreign policy as one of the fundamental pillars of governance. Foreign policy is one of the fundamental pillars of governance. Okay, foreign policy and public policies cannot be discussed separately. Rather, they are interdependent. Mrs. Gandhi, in an interview, once said, quote, a country's foreign policy cannot be divorced from its internal policy. Any country, any government, any political party must decide what it believes in, and all its policies must then flow from its basic conviction and belief, unquote. So, to describe her image and personality, Aruna Asaf Ali once said that she brought India back to the center of international stage from the periphery. I watched with joy as the daughter of India, as chairperson of non-aligned movement, recaptured the spirit of 50s within her. Further inherited the movement along with other political giants of that time, such as Marshal Tito and President Nasser. She was fully aware that certain Western powers were alarmed at her growing strength. Okay, her furthermore condemnation of imperialism and a refusal to be pressurized by any big powers, unquote. So she also gave primary importance to maintaining good relations with her neighbors such as Bangladesh. When she felt that the people of East Pakistan were being tortured and exploited by the Pakistani army, she extended her support through diplomacy. Ultimately, she bravely fought the India-Pakistan War of 1971. Yes, this is one of the bravest achievements of Srimati Indira Gandhi, because she wanted to give a blow to the Pakistani government that they are not doing right. At that time, they were really creating pressure, and they are using force, and they are playing with the what is say humanity. They were playing with the Hindus, and they were playing with the Bangladeshi people or East Pakistani people, those who do not speak Urdu. So these were really very oppressive. Their oppressive behavior reached at such a place where Indira Gandhi had to interfere, right? So ultimately, she bravely fought the India-Pakistan War of 1971 and decisively won the battle. And by splitting Pakistan into two, she created a new country, Bangladesh. So Bangladesh is the creation of our Prime Minister, of our former Prime Minister Srimati Indira Gandhi. She also wrote several letters to global leaders for almost 6 months. You just imagine how she was taking preparation to before attack. India could attack at any time, but India did not do that initially because she wanted to get favor from the Western powers, right? That is why she wrote several letters to global leaders for almost 6 months, from March to October 1971. You see, March to October 1971, to sensitize the merciless butchering of the Pakistani army on the civilian population in East Pakistan. You see, she also visited Moscow, France, Germany, Britain, Belgium and USA to arouse the world's consciousness and seek their support. Ultimately, her relation with the then USSR came into use to win her battle against Pakistan. She was a sagacious and far-sighted global leader in true sense. Okay. After that, we will discuss about the foreign policy of Narasimha Rao. In the next video, I will discuss about the foreign policy of P.V. Narasimha Rao, the polyglot P.V. Narasimha Rao, who was out of the Nehru Gandhi family. Okay, so please watch my next video. Thank you very much.